So they're not his feelings, they're your feelings, they're her feelings, and you guys can't pass those on to him because that's not fair to him.
Nah.
But I do think his biological father made the right choice for Eli for that situation. And I think
Yeah,
that's a lot of dads who are deadbeats and labeled that, you know, I think that's because they're inconsistent and they don't show up when they're supposed to show up and they don't meet their end of the bargain when they're supposed to meet their end of the bargain.
mhm.
And they just continually fail and hurt their kids, which causes more damage versus if they just didn't be involved or weren't involved, period,
Yeah,
to
exactly,
begin
and
with.
that's where I do have some respect for the guy. Like I'm not bitter and angry at him. I don't understand, and I think that's why I
Yeah,
have those judgments. I don't understand why he'd step back like that. But that being said, kudos to him. He knew that he wasn't going to be a good father, or he knew that he didn't have enough spoons. I'm sure you
hmm,
know that term. Maybe
yeah,
he just didn't have enough spoons that at that point, whatever it may be. Like he knew that he couldn't do the job. Maybe just couldn't do the job as well as he knew he should. And like you say, he removed himself entirely instead of being a wishy-washy dad, doing his best, but his best not being good enough.
yeah. And sometimes that's better. And I think it's interesting what you said talking about parental alienation. That's the whole thing because it's common on both things. And I don't think people realize the depth of parental alienation and how you saying something like, "Oh, you just saying how you feel about a situation to your kid with their mother or their father, that parental alienation in a form
Mm,
because you're projecting a feeling outwards toward and out loud with your kid in the room that can make them feel a different way about their parent.
yeah,
And that's
and
not healthy. And I
mm,
saw a quote the other day, actually on a dad's group. So many kids grow up thinking they have a deadbeat father. Really, all they really had was a very bitter mother. And it sucks that that's true. It goes both ways because some kids think they have a mom who doesn't care and not involved, when ultimately they had a dad who just had money or had a power struggle or is narcissistic or had the ability to screw over that woman because she bucked him by giving him a kid and he didn't want the kid. She kept the kid. She didn't listen to him, so she's just gonna take the kid and he's gonna ruin her image and all that. And it's unfortunate because it does go both ways, but more commonly than not, there are a lot of bitter moms out there who are just trying to prove a point and
mhm.
manipulate the justice system, especially
Ye
here in America because it is easily manipulated until you get a judge who sees right through the crap and grants a dad who doesn't have anything against him, who hasn't done anything wrong per se, and that dad gets granted 50-50. And then the mom's screwed because now she only gets part of the child support she was getting. She can't live off that anymore. Now she has to adjust. Now she only has the kids half the time. And then all these other people start to see the real picture because now he's in the picture and everyone's wondering, well, now what she said before doesn't make sense because now I've met and interacted with this dad and I've worked with him. What she was saying before about him, that's not who he really is based off
mm.
my interactions with him. And it really starts to turn the tables, and it's really interesting when that happens. But parental alienation, it's a dark and windy path, and it's not a healthy one for anyone involved.
No, and I think what a lot of parents in that situation seem to forget as well is that kids, especially in those early years, like that first 7 years when their brain is still going through those theta brain waves and really developing all those what's the word, all those neuron pathways and all that
Hmm.
sort of thing. that they don't really have an identity of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Their identity is I'm half mum and I'm half dad, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so it can another example of this alienation can be as simple as, "Oh my God, I wish you wouldn't do that. You remind me of your father every time," or
Yes.
you know, "Oh my God, you're just like your bloody mother." Now, your child knows that you have issues with their other parent, with their mother or father. They know that. And so when you start saying, "Oh, you're acting just like your father," or your mother does this all the time, I wish you'd stop that. They see that as a personal attack because half of their identity is that other parent. So I
Exactly.
just wanted to point that one out because
100%.
it's
And you're
it's
putting
subtle.
down half of who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's unfortunate, but as we get close to concluding here, we can go on. I think parental alienation is a very deep topic that needs its own time in itself, and is one because I think a lot of dads do it without realizing it, and it's really unhealthy just for you as a person, as a dad, to be doing that. Especially in at least in the state of Washington where I am, if you have a parenting plan in court, you can actually get held in contempt for doing so because it clearly goes against your parenting plan.
Mm.
It's written out and spelled out in there that you can't do that. And let's say it's caught, it's recorded, you're fucked. So
Yep,
we don't
all it
want that.
takes is that other parent to go to court and file the contempt papers with that evidence, and like you say, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's gonna get upheld. Oh, sorry. Um, sorry. And it's not gonna be pretty on the back end of that. It's not gonna be fun, and um that contempt's not going to be dropped against you no matter how much you apologize. Because that's a personal attack. It's something that's affecting the kids, and it's something you're clearly told not to do.
Mm.
Um, so just be careful. If you're co-parenting, just be careful with what you say, what you do. Be you. Have your own home. Have your values. Have your rules. Have your own sets. Do your own thing. But just be mindful of what that court order says. Read those papers in full so you know what you can and cannot do, and how and to what end your burden exists, and meet that burden. If your burden is a 70-30 split and you're 30, meet your 30%. Do what you need to do. If you feel you're paying way too much child support and it's not going to where it needs to be going, pull the receipts. Take the pictures. My kid's been wearing these same shoes since April, and I've been paying X amount of child support for the last 6 months. And now they've outgrown these shoes, and these are the only shoes they wear, and they're ragged and tagged. And um, the money that I'm paying isn't being used for clothes or for hygiene. Every time my kid comes to me, they stink, or all these other things. Like, where is this going? Or they're always saying that they're hungry whenever they're here, and they don't because they don't have food at mom's, and whatever. Keep the receipts. Keep the receipts. Be like Deion Sanders and keep the receipts for everything. And don't let anything slide. And as soon as you need it, you have it.
Yep,
One thing that frustrates me the most about my parenting plan is that we're supposed to be 50-50 on costs for extracurricular activities. I have Venmo requests to this woman from over a year ago.
yep.
A
That must be
year.
frustrating, man. Look, and like I was saying before we
So,
started recording, I feel kind of guilty as a dad sometimes. I think because I've had it really easy. I've got a really easy child. I've not dealt with the early morning wake ups because he gets up and makes his own breakfast and does his own thing. Um, I've not had, I'm on my second marriage now, but I didn't have children with my first wife. So I've not had to deal with custody and parental plans and all that sort of thing. There are a lot of dads out there like yourself, man, that have been going through the wars, and I've just not had to do that. I've floated in, I didn't even have to make the baby to become a father. I floated in, become a dad, and it's been easy sailing for me. So I will say, man, hats off to you. Hats off to all those other dads out there that are really doing the grind. Because those are some really important points you've just made. Document everything, watch your words, and follow the parenting plan. That's your best chance of getting custody of your kids back, if not
Yeah,
just trying to have whatever minimal contact that you do have already not taken away.
yeah. And if you do
Yeah,
have to contact your co-parent, the mother or the father, just keep it transactional. Like, it doesn't need to be personal. It doesn't need to be over the top. It doesn't need to be so fancy. Keep it transactional. Like, thank you. Appreciate it. This is the time. This is the place. This is the thing. I need these things back because they went to your place last time. No big deal. Can you send them back, please and thank you? School's on Monday. I don't have their backpack. I'm supposed to drop them off. Can you drop off their backpack, please and thank you? Or can you take it to school for them, please and thank you? Mind your P's and Q's. Be nice. Be transactional. That's it. Don't worry about what she's doing or what he's doing. Don't worry about all these other trivial things. Don't worry about all these things which you feel you need to worry about that they affect you. When in reality, they don't affect you a damn bit.
no,
Um, her choices and how she's impacting your kids' perspective and in their lives. Yes, that sucks. Can you change it? Even if you try? No,
no.
you can't. Stop letting it bother you. Because guess
But
what?
another,
Your kid's gonna
sorry,
see it. Your kid's gonna see it. They're gonna realize it. They're gonna realize it. Give it time. Give it a chance. Let it marinate. Your kid's gonna realize it. They're gonna realize that you're the quote unquote better parent because you're not the one causing more damage and confusion and hurting them in ways that that their other parent doesn't see them being hurt.
mm,
So
mm. And just one more point I want to add to that, Jay, is the fact of contact. Right now, I know I'm in Australia and I'm very, very detached, but like I say, I do a lot of research with American stuff and politics, the family law courts, that whole thing. You don't need to be texting each other on your personal numbers. The family courts in the States have some really great suggestions for, um, parenting apps and, custody
a
apps.
lot of times they make you use those apps
Yeah.
for those
And then that
situations.
way everything is recorded for the courts as well. They can
Hmm.
pull all that communication up.
Yeah, my
So,
ex-wife and I text because she wanted to use one of those apps, but there was nothing in place that said we had to. And I thought it was useless because we were communicating just fine. Then she wanted to implement it, and I'm like, this is dumb. I'm not using this because we can handle communicating as adults. Um, so I'm not doing that. It was a big point of contention. I'm like, look, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it
mm,
because there's no point. There's nothing that says I have to do this. No one that says I have to. If you're choosing not to communicate with me because I'm not choosing to give in to you, then that's on you for not communicating the
hmm
way that we've always communicated about things. And you want to suddenly change it, and I'm not willing to do so. I don't have to be willing. I don't have to appease you because
very true.
it doesn't. There's nothing that says I have to. If there was something that said I had to, a different story. Guess what? There's not. So I'm not going to. So if you want
Good
to
on you,
talk
man.
and not communicate with me about the kids, that's on you to not communicate and talk to me about the kids. But I'm communicating. I'm doing my part. I'm sending you the messages. I'm telling you what's going on my end. And if you're choosing not to do the same, that's on you. That's on you. And got to that point where we tried it. I hated it. And I just told her one day, I'm done with this. I'm deleting it. I'm not paying for it anymore. We can go back to using regular texting like we have been for the duration of the whole time we've known each other. If you don't respond and you don't want to communicate, that's on you. That's your accountability part of it. But there's nothing that says I have to do this. I don't like it. I don't want to, and I don't have to. So,
hmm
um, So, but I agree. There are a lot of really good resources. There's a lot of really good apps. A lot of times you can get those paid for through the court because they'll be court ordered. Um, so use those. Make sure you're on those. And even then, be the nice one. Be transactional. Because if you're just being transactional, a judge is going to use their objectiveness and be like, well, I don't see anything wrong with your communication, but I see your communication over here pretty hostile, pretty effed up. This one, he's just telling you the days and times and dates and information you need to know. You're taking a lot of personal shots here and harassing. You're not. Judges aren't dumb. When they have the evidence in front of them, they're able to equally weigh the evidence because there's no he said, she said part of it.
Hmm.
And it makes it a lot simpler and a lot smoother. So,
Yeah, and like you said, man, the family courts are rigged against the men, so we have to do that due diligence in order to make sure we don't screw ourselves even harder.
and even with that, them being rigged, make your case. Like when you're in front of that judge or when you're getting those statements or you need additional supporting evidence, get those character witnesses, get references from your job, contact everyone you need to contact. Because if you come in with a case and a story and written character witnesses from a variety of people, church leaders, family, friends, co-workers, elementary school teachers, high school teachers, secondary education teachers, the random dude you met at Applebee's last Tuesday that you had a drink with, thought you were really cool. Um, your kid's coach, because your
Yeah.
kid's coach saw you were the one bringing him 95% of the time and you were at every single game. Make your case. Make your case because it's still, even in a lot of places, there's a lot of male justices. And
Absolutely.
I see it firsthand because I sit in those courtrooms during those parental hearings, and I sit in them during the protection order hearings, and I sit in them during these different hearings. And a well made case is a well made case. A shitbag's a shitbag, and he's going to get what's coming to him, and he's going to get it. The evidence is going to stack against him, or it can stack in your favor, and you can get what you want, and you can win the amount that you want. So don't be afraid to make your case and make it damn good because you might only get one shot. So make that case. And if you're really passionate, keep fighting. Don't stop fighting because the fight's going to be worth it in the end. Yeah, is it going to be expensive? Probably. Lawyers aren't cheap. But is it going to be worth it? Absolutely. So,
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. Absolutely, 100%.
100%. So I just wanted to ask you, just before we head out and we wrap up here, I know we're going a little bit long for our listeners here. That's okay. You guys are going to listen through anyway because it's awesome. But what is the one, and this is something I ask everyone, what is that one piece of advice that you would give to a dad that's down in the dumps, in a dark place, that came to you and said, Yo, Nate, I need some advice. I need some help. I'm in this dark place. Ooh, help me get out of it.
Ooh, that's a good one, my friend. Because funnily enough, I do this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to be that guy that's checking in with everyone. I'm the "Are you okay" guy, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I have had to talk a lot of people down. Um, at the end of the day, like you can't use a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Like you say, even if it's a custody battle or you're going through the family courts for whatever reason, and it could just be trying to iron out that parenting plan. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it does take an emotional toll, but it's not worth taking your life over. Your kids want you around. Your kids, if anything, do it for your kids. Everybody says I would die for my kids. All right, that's honorable. would you live for them?
100%.
And I think that's the easiest way to say it. Would you live for your kids?
Yeah. No, and I 100% agree because that's the kicker right there. I mean, yeah, I'll take a bullet for my kids. I'll do anything for my kids. I'll do this and that for my kids. And I don't think we realize when that time comes that what we're really saying
Mm,
and what we're trying to do here because we're so focused because that's the easier way out. That's the easier option.
it
I know at
is,
least here
and
in the United States, it's a 4-to-1 ratio of men to women that die by suicide.
yeah, absolutely.
Women attempt more often, but and they're unsuccessful more often because they use less lethal methods. Men, we don't. We go for it. We're gonna fucking do it. We're gonna fucking do it.
Oh, we do shit properly.
Yeah, we'll get it
Do
done
the
the first
job
time,
properly or don't do it at all.
100%. And so
And
it's
I mean,
sad,
I
but
know it's not something you should be joking about, but yeah, like you
no,
say, it's a case of, yeah, I'd die for my kids, I'd take a bullet for my kids, but will you live for your kids? Will you be a better person for your kids? Will you just be the best parent that you can be for your kids? And that's the other end of the spectrum. That's the hard shit. And that's what really shows your character even stronger.
100%. And without that, then you're losing a battle.
That's it, man.
You're losing battle, and part of living for your kids is changing, is making a concerted effort, is being there, is showing up for yourself, taking care of your own self-care, taking care of your own just everything, your own mental ability to function as an individual, as a parent, and that all goes hand in hand with it. And it's no joking matter when it comes to suicide, but you know, are you gonna get up and live for your kids today? Are you gonna get up and live for them tomorrow? Part of that living isn't just making a living. So,
It's
no.
as simple as just don't quit for one more day.
Mhm.
Just keep going for one more day. And then
Mhm.
guess what? Wake up tomorrow and just keep going for one more day. Take it a day at a time. As dark as it may be, take it a day at a time. Because next thing you know, you're going to be 6 months down the track. You're going to be feeling a hell of a lot better. And you're going to be going, man, I can't believe I was in that shit pit. But I made it out.
100%. 100%, man. All right, man. Well, let's wrap up here. I appreciate your time. It's been a good conversation. I think we got plenty of good, golden, delicious, straight out of the McDonald's fryer nuggets today, and it was good. It was beautiful. It was fun. It was amazing talking to you. Well worth the wait. Um, where can the people find more of you?
Uh, Firstly, come down to Western Sydney. I'll cook you
Good.
a barbecue. Let's catch up. But
The
no,
shrimp on the
failing that,
barbie.
failing that, guys, get over to notsosecretdadsbusiness.com. It's all one word. You can find me on my socials, which are both at Not So Secret Dad's Business. You can find the podcast wherever you stream good podcasts. You know, if you're listening to the Young Dad podcast on Spotify, you're going to find Not So Secret Dad's Business there. Um, Basically, we're everywhere, man. You can find us.
Love that.
I haven't picked up on your thing yet of doing all the reels and all that sort of stuff because that's still out of my depth. I haven't gotten that far. I've done a few here or there,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. Look, guys, if you want to reach out, send me a message. My DMs are always open, and yeah, it goes for my audience and your audience as well, Jay.
Likewise, likewise. And of course, you can find more of us at Young Dad Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter/X, uh, Threads, TikTok. You can find me at BallboyJ on TikTok. You can find everything and then some other stuff over on our website, ballboymedia.com. And then you can also find just my writings and things like that over on Medium as well. I started posting on there a couple weeks ago. Just some stuff that was already written on my blog just to cross pollinate it. So it's out there, it's available. And again, like you said, my DMs are always open to your audience, to my audience. We're here. I answer all the DMs myself, and it's a lot of fun. You can always email us, youngdadpod@gmail.com, and communicate via us that way. You can reach out to us through all the social channels, any way that you feel comfortable. The link in the show notes, everything's available to you. So make sure you use that, check it all out. And then, Nate, just once again, thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the time. And we're going to have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely, man. Look, thanks so much for staying up late over there, because I know Seattle to Sydney, man. It's a tough ride with
I
time
think you're
zone, but
plus 17, maybe plus 15 or 17.
something around that. Yeah, it's currently 3:30 in the afternoon on Saturday here. Um, But
Yeah, it's
guys, if
15.
you're listening to this on Not So Secret Dad's Business as
17.
well, please get over and check out Jay's podcast, the Young Dad podcast. It's awesome. As you've heard, there's an in studio audience, which is my first ever podcast having that. So please, guys, check out Jay's podcast. There's a whole heap of awesome stuff there.
Yeah, they started clapping as soon as you mentioned them. No, I likewise. If you're listening to our podcast, if you're listening to the Young Dad podcast, check out Not So Secret Dad Business. A great catalog of episodes. Really cool guy hosting it. I talked to him once. He's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. All right, dude. Pass the check. But no, seriously, great show. Really gets into the weeds over there on all these hot topic, hot button dad issues that we all want to hear more about, and yet none of us want to talk about. So
That's it. Hey Jay, thanks for having me, man. This has been fun. I love the conversation, and we've been on plenty of juicy tangents. So
love it.
it's been awesome.
There's only more to go down. There's only more to go down.
Absolutely, we're gonna do this again. We'll have to do another crossover episode, my friend.
100%, my friend.